Somebody want to pick an animal, like an unusual animal, just for our example? A pangolin. Yeah. So let's say we have a pangolin, and the pangolin um, taps out in the rhythm of a knock knock joke. And be like, oh my God, that's amazing, you know. Or if every time you say its name, it looks at you. Like, oh my God, we didn't think the science thought pangolins could do this. Um, or let's say uh, you know, the pangolin um, did something annoying every time you did something annoying, right? Um, you'd be like, oh wow, you're sort of like giving me a little back when I did something, you know, like I pinched you, like you nibbled on me, like oh I right. And even though that's a little annoying because of the nibble, you'd probably mostly be thinking, oh, that's amazing. That's like a little communication, like, or you're annoyed, so you're letting me know, or you're trying to mimic what I'm doing. You'd have this sense of, from a scientist point of view, like, wow, they're really capable of recognizing patterns, right? And even if they did sort of a distasteful um, representation of a pattern, you'd still be like, yeah, you know, never mind that, but every time I this, the pangolin that. I mean, you know, it's crazy. You know, uh, that would be um, uh, so amazing to everybody. You know, if you were just to say to the pangolin A, and then M, and the pangolin just keeps going K. You'd be like, oh, it's kind of funny. I don't know, maybe picking that as the wrong, but you'd be like, okay, that's pretty distasteful, and we need to now we have to teach it manners. But never mind all that. It's amazing. The thing knows we're doing three of the letters every time, right? Like that would be your focus, like the scientific focus. Is that fair? Okay. So when you notice somebody doing something that is insulting, painful, hurtful, annoying, frustrating, something like that, you are recognizing a pattern, right? And that pattern exists in your mind, and your mind is the place that you can release and receive. But if you in, receive a pattern and hang on to it, that's going to kind of sort of help you see other things as fitting that pattern. That becomes the lens as long as you hang on to it. But if I see a pattern, like I'm annoyed, I'm insulted, I'm frustrated, my buttons are being pushed, I'm just recognizing a pattern. Good for you, little pangolin. That was amazing. Nobody ever thought you could do that. It's amazing. Somebody videoed this for YouTube. That is crazy. That is the amazing part. If you get caught up on on that and you sort of re-educate the pangolin about racism or something, you're kind of missing the point. The pangolin doesn't know about racism. It doesn't mean what you thought it meant by KKK. But you're like, oh, nobody can say KK. Oh my God. And you have to like fix that and re-educate the pangolin. Like you're kind of missing the point. So the pattern, as in the pangolin there, isn't necessarily there, but you recognize it because that's what we are. We're beings that recognize patterns. And we can possibly just remember that it's amazing that we're recognizing a pattern and we don't have to keep recognizing it. We can let that go. So, anyway, If you happen to spend time with your family this weekend and you're insulted and frustrated and having buttons pushed and seeing the same thing that your sister always does, you can do what you've done every year, which is raise up your fire to fight it, because that'll change everybody. Just have an argument with each person, and next year they'll be fine. Or you can just say, look at me, little pangolin. I've recognized a pattern. Didn't think I could do that. I could practice letting things go. I can practice reconnecting to soil and source. I've probably spent my whole life seeing the pattern and believing that's the truth, and then fighting and failing. Fight, fail, family, all F words. So if you can see the whole pattern, it means you're outside the pattern. If you're getting some inklings of some elements of the pattern, you're probably in the spider's web. You're probably caught in it a little. Take a step back. Say this is just a pangolin situation. Pretty amazing that I can see this. Of course she's doing that. She always does that. Oh yeah, and I know what's coming next. She's going to make fun of my career. Like, yep, look at that. Kind of knew that was coming, right? My grandma's here. She's going to ask about kids. I know it's coming up. Why aren't there kids? Like, it's a pattern. Good for you, Pangolin. You recognize a pattern. It's amazing. So anyway, I thought, since you mentioned what you mentioned when you got here, I was like, oh, maybe I'll just share that instead of what I was going to do. And maybe that offers a bit of help.